Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the session regarding the K6. Okay, so K6 is a load testing and performance testing tool given by the Grafana Labs. Okay, so before we start with the session, we had some basic prerequisites like you're supposed to have a basic understanding of API testing. Okay, or either APIs, right? So, using APIs, we perform a performance testing and load testing to ensure the application performs well under the expected loads. Okay, the primary goal of our this tool is to identify the performance bottlenecks before application goes live. Okay, so these are the basics of the performance testing, and the reason we do the performance testing and load testing for the applications to ensure the reliability, improve the user experience, capacity planning, and risk mitigation. So basically, what happens, like most of the times application runs under the desired speeds and capacity. So what happens, like if someone user request uh, perform a large number of requests, it goes into the uh, load and it stop responding and all. So to avoid that, we use some testing techniques to avoid such situations. So yeah, so the reason for in market, there are multiple tools available for load testing and performance testing. Okay, so there are a few, like the K6 is given by the Grafana Labs. The JMeter, like everyone knows about it, like it's a Java based tool. Then Locust comes under the Python and Loader. So each has their own uh, 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 the reasons why we use them. The one will be for K6 mostly used for the API and microservices. The JMeter and Locust are used for the web and API testing, and load runner is used for the large scale applications. So what is K6? So K6 is a open source load testing tool that simplifies the performance testing for engineering teams, and it's like extensible and free for only like 500 virtual users. And the key features are like it's used in like integration for DevOps workflows and all. So this is the main feature we use K6 for. Okay. So to set up a K6 in your work machine, you have like for Mac machine, you have to perform a brief install K6. For Linux and Windows, you have a dedicated exe file you have to download and install. And once you install them, you just have to add a K6 maintenance version in CMD to check whether it is installed correctly or not. Okay. To run your test scripts, basically the K6 is a JavaScript based tool. So we write K6 scripts in JavaScript, and to run those scripts, we use command like K6 run sample.js, like whatever the file name you have. And to run those test scripts on a cloud, uh, we use a Grafana cloud, and this Grafana cloud has like its own API key given to you, and you log in with that API key using K6 login and a K6 login cloud. So it will ask for your API token, and once you add your API token, you can start executing test scripts using K6 cloud and your file name. So the basic test script structure is such that you import your K6 libraries first. Then there is a configuration variable options, which was a dedicated K6 variable, and kindly ignore that for now. But in test scripts, you get three parts. One is a setup, second one is a default function, and third one is a tear down function. So setup function will execute before the your default function, and basically you declare variables here, you add your test data and all. In default function, you will actually perform your checks and all, and in tear down you will add your cleanup utility and all. So as you can see, uh, here we are simply taking a response from a test APS k6.io and using check function. So the check and sleep functions are predefined functions given by the K6, and check will simply check that it will take a response and whatever the condition we have written. So here we have written a condition like status 200. R is the response object, and R dot status will simply take the whatever the status you get from the response and check it with it. And sleep function will add a uh, sleep function will just taken as a
It will add delay.
yeah, delay to imitate a user, imitate a user. Okay, that's all. So there are some basic checks. So you with the R dot status, you are getting a status from the response. R dot body will get the whatever the response you have taken from the request. And these are the some basic checks like R dot time and duration is less than 500. So 500 here is a milliseconds, and our dollar JSON stringify uh, res comma null comma two. It's just a whatever the response you are getting, it will convert into a string and in a beautiful format, like a pretty format. So that's all. So now, okay, mm, yeah. So here in options, configuration options, you see two variables like VUS and duration. So basically, the performance testing and load testing are depending upon virtual users basically. So the reason we do performance testing and load testing is with multiple users to imitate the multiple users and stress your system and applications so that it will we can check the real-time behavior of that application in real world. So that's the very reason we do. And this K6 allows some predefined variables to imitate those situations. So the 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 first variable it gives is a VUS. VUS basically set a number of virtual users to run concurrently. Second one is the duration, for what duration you have to run your test. Then it comes the stages. So for stages, let's keep it aside for the moment. The iteration. So let's suppose you are try to imitate the behavior of a five users for 30 seconds, and you want to uh, repeat this behavior for like certain iterations. So you will provide that number like five users, 30 seconds, and five iterations. So, and this view max variable, it will set the maximum virtual users you have to run in a particular scenario. And there is another one, the start views. So it will define the initial virtual users you want to start with. Let's suppose you are written a test and you want to imitate that initially the first five user test start with the five users and gradually increasing up to 20 users. So if you are providing the start views will be the five and the view max will be the 20. So that's how it will gradually increase from 5 to 20 accordingly. Okay. So So as you can see here, in this following script, I have just given a option as a configuration variable options with only 10 virtual users and duration as a 10 seconds. And I'm just getting a taking a response, not even taking a response, just return added a sleep as a counter to, and so if I run this script, you will get that the 10 users are executing for 10 seconds and it will generate a report. So, okay. So now go to the option configurations. So there are two categories for option configurations. One is a fixed users.
Kaushal, one doubt if you're taking it.
Okay.
So for your default function, it's not returning anything. Like, how does it determine? Like you showed us a condition earlier, you were evaluating it for, let's say, HTTP 200. Here, what is expected? Like, okay, it should just not throw any error.
No, no, no. This one is like a base function. It doesn't perform any validations and checks,
Mhm.
basically. Yeah. So it's a
So,
normal.
so, so it will always count as success.
Yeah. This will count as a success. And if you take into consideration this code, here you can see I have written a check function, and in
Mhm.
this I'm basically checking the response is equal to 200. So
Oh, okay, okay. So check
okay.
function is not option. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So just give me a second.
Kaushal, I also have a doubt.
Okay.
What is the difference between this iteration and stages?
Okay. Yeah. So I will come to that point. Basically, the iteration is like how many times you want to run your scripts. Okay. And the stages have a whole different functionality. I will like explain it in next phase. So basically, in stages, what you do, uh, you tell the script like you basically create a one pattern with stages. Like first, it starts with the 5 users, then goes to 20, then steady for like 30 seconds on the 20 users, and then go back to the 10 users. So you have to write that in stage format. So I will explain that. Don't worry. Okay. So, so come to the this earlier question. Yeah. So as you can see, the status is always as a check is completed. Status we are getting status as a 200. It will mark as a true. So if I consider take it as a like 300 or something, the test will be failed. See?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Come to the Piyush question. Like what are the stages basically? So the stages are specifically used for the generating the load testing test scenarios. So as you can see here, I'm giving the stages in configuration options variables. Okay, so here is the duration is 30 seconds and target is 20. So and then in second stage it will be the 1 minute timing and target will be the 20. And in last stage it will be the 30 seconds and target will be the 0. So what I'm telling is initially I start with a 0, gradually move up to the 20 users here, and then for 1 minute I will be on 20 users. So the application will be used by the 20 users for 1 minute, and then gradually it will be degraded for in within 30 seconds to 0. So this is the basic load testing scenario, which we call the ramp up ramp down scenario. So uh, there are like m- different test scenarios. One is a peak test. So as you can see, for peak imitate the peak test, we gradually go from 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, come back to 10, then again 10 to 30, then come back to 12. So there is so why we do these kind of test scenarios? Basically, like in peak test, like let's suppose you go to 20, then 30, then 40, and after 40 your applications start behaving abruptly and tests started getting to fail. So you know that at the applications, virtual users are like my applications using the users are like around 40, and beyond that my applications starts abruptly behaving. So either you have to increase the load on increase the capacity of a server side, like handling the requests and all. So these kind of things you have to identify basically. So for these purpose, we have different test scenarios. This one is a, stress test scenario. In this, like in similar fashion, like in peak test, you gradually increase, you don't downgrade here. So these graphs you have to take into consideration while performing the load testing. The last one is the endurance test and soak test. Basically, you provide you put your application in load for a longer period of time. Like here is a similar to the load testing, but the time is here like around 5 hours, 6 hours, and all. So the best example is like here will be the project Catapult, where the students are giving tests for almost like 3 hours basically. So to imitate that behavior, we like start with 0 to 20 users, the 20 users giving the test for like 3 hours and all, and then gradually downgrade to the zero. So this is the endurance test example. Okay. The next point is here is thresholds. So let's suppose you started your writing your script basically, and then you write a setup function, you write a default function, then you wrote a cleanup functionality with tear down and all. But how you gonna test like pass fail criteria for your test basically? So here you get some threshold variables, and based on those variables you determine like whether your API test is getting passed or failed. Unless and until all those thresholds are passed, basically those conditions are passed, your test will not be succeed. So here like HTTP request duration is less than 500. So what I'm telling is P95 is a percentage. So out of the 100 requests, 95% of my request should be request duration should be less than 500 milliseconds. That's what I'm telling. If this condition fails, whole API test will be failed. That's what I'm. That's the basic idea behind writing these threshold functions. So there are like few rules while writing these option configurations. Like iteration and durations does not go together, because it will be the meaningless. Because if you are giving the iterations, you are telling like I have to run 5 times. So you don't know like how many time, how much time it will be taken to run those 5 iterations of the API test run, right? So similarly, stages and virtual users also can't go together, because if you are providing the stages, in stages itself you provide like a set number of virtual users, like from 0 to 5 it will go 5 to 20 and then on. So separately providing the virtual users doesn't make sense. The iterations and stages also cannot go together. Yeah, and there is one concept called graceful stop. So in this, what happens when we provide a graceful stop of 30 seconds, 20 seconds, or a 10, it tells that after execution, wait for the request to end till 10 seconds. So let's suppose I given a test duration like 30 seconds and graceful stop of 10 seconds. So after execution, like making the API calls for like 30 seconds, it will wait to get the response from uh, all those requests for next 10 seconds, and then it will start stopping abruptly all those remaining API requests. That's the basic behavior behind this.
Kaushal, I have one doubt. Can
Okay.
you go back?
Y-
Yeah,
yes.
you mentioned that iteration and stages. That means, let's say, in 60 seconds, and performing some 10 iteration. Okay. So you are saying this is cannot go together, right?
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is writing these conditions will does not make sense any sense.
Uh, why? Kind of in the 1 minute, I want to like do iteration of 10. Sometimes I want to do iteration of 30. So what do you mean by it's meaningless?
Okay. See,
Uh,
let's come back to here.
in the stages, we can define iterations, Kaushal.
No, no. Here you cannot define iterations.
Mhm.
Basically,
Oh,
like you are telling, you are creating a one test scenario, right?
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
So repeating that test scenario doesn't make sense.
Okay. Because normally it's like
Syntactically,
load, yeah, syntactically maybe okay, not possible, or I don't know about case 6, but normally it's required like in the some duration you have to do iteration of 10 times, 20 times, 30 times to do load test. So this is kind of not supported, or
not like in the case 6, right?
No, even if you write in a syntax, it will be execute, and you
Mhm,
even it will do a successful execution. But
mhm.
logically, this will be not a logical case, because in stages, because the the we the reason we use the option configuration with stages is basically you are imitating one test scenario for load testing, basically. So
Okay.
either like if you want to repeat a iterations, basically what you
Mhm.
can do, you write a multiple stages, like copy these 3 lines and paste again and again. See here.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
behavior will be the same.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will not make a huge difference or so. So yeah. So next part will be the reading the output summary. So as you can see here, after the successful execution, you get a one result summary, basically. So there are like multiple parameters written here, and each parameter have their own meaning. So HTTP request block will be like time spent waiting to start a request. So and the interpretation is like when this value